News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. We have some crazy stuff that continues to come out about the assassination attempt, the second assassination attempt of Donald J. Trump. And I want to give you my overall impression of what I gained today, including from one of the former top FBI officials that was on with Martha McCallum this afternoon on Fox News. And he was saying that this is basic beginner level stuff. The failure of protection of Donald J. Trump. The refusal to do put a drone up in the air, the refusal to do a perimeter check, continuing to farm out the perimeter to local law enforcement, and really treating Trump as not a high value target. What is insane is that the state of Iran, the terrorist state of Iran, are one of our chief enemies, who Joe Biden and Kamala have continued to appease and make abundantly wealthy. And they use that money to kill us and to kill Jews and to fund Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen. And Iran is actively trying to kill President Trump, and now they are redoubling their efforts to kill him. Another report just came out. We also have two separate attempts in 64 days, in 2 months, unprecedented in my memory of any president with two assassination attempts that close together. And the Secret Service is literally continuing to not treat Trump at the level of a presidency. And Biden reportedly had told people that he said, after that first attempt, I told them to give him the same protection that I have. And then when the Secret Service director was being interviewed, this interim guy, who is no better and is definitely a Trump hater from everything I've heard of and seen of, he continues to say, well, he pat himself on the back about the second assassination attempt. Well, we worked. Our system worked. No, you never swept that golf course and around the golf course and in the golf course. You never swept it. You literally just had one guy go ahead to the hole ahead of Trump and look around. And he happened to notice a muzzle pointing through a fence of an area that is widely known, openly known as where paparazzi go all the time to get pictures of Trump or any celebrities that are golfing on his course, because you can just go up to the fence right there. There's some shrubbery, but that's about it. And he was there for 12 hours, and they didn't catch him. They didn't spot him. They didn't have Secret Service out in the vulnerable places the night before or the day before. They didn't sweep it an hour before Trump even arrived there. And this guy was saying in the press conference, the acting director of the Secret Service was saying, well, he doesn't get that protection ahead. And he literally said this was his fault because it wasn't on the schedule, and therefore they didn't have any advance notice. Look, you go out and you put people in front of there. You say, Mr. President, just give us 20 minutes, and we'll 30 minutes here, whatever. I don't know. That's not my job. It's your job. And it is not a success when a man was sitting there for 12 hours with a sniper's nest ready to kill Trump. It is not a success when a man who was flagged, according to the Wall Street Journal today, U.S. authorities were warned about the suspected Trump gunman over and over and over again. The FBI flagged him in the past for having bomb-making materials and having a standoff with cops in North Carolina. He was flagged by the State Department from Ukraine when he was over there before the war was launched. A nurse who had several encounters with Routh, the Journal reports today, in Kyiv, Ukraine, in 2022, said his threats of violence worried her so much she conveyed her concerns to a Customs and Border Protection officer in an hour-long interview at Washington Dulles Airport, June 22nd. This guy was known. He was on the radar of the State Department, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and all the authorities. The police in North Carolina said, yeah, this guy was a serious threat, and we were afraid of him. We were afraid of dealing with him. This guy was a serious threat. He had 100 arrests or law enforcement infractions on his record, including firearms, a felon in possession of firearms. He had a fully automatic, he had a machine gun and other things in his possession as a felon. and yet nothing was done. And this guy was within one hole of killing Trump, and literally one barrel stuck through there. Does anybody here want to tell me they think a barrel should be sticking out of the fence where Trump's going to be in about 5, 10, 15 minutes? Because he was close to the end of the fifth hole, is my understanding. Does anybody want to say that they think it was normal for a barrel of a gun from a terrorist, a murderer attempted, to have his gun pointed and scoped out and ready to go in about 10, 15 minutes when Trump was going to drive right around in front of him 40 feet away on the cart path on a golf cart? Come on. And then you have people blaming in the media, and liberal Democrats blaming in the media, and the liberal Democrat media blaming Trump for the rhetoric and these assassination attempts, blaming him for 2 assassination attempts against him. And then you have more incendiary language. I'm going to read all that to you in a second and play it all for you. But first, I want to ask you some questions. Do you feel the DHS and Secret Service are purposely leaving Trump at a much higher risk of assassination than Kamala and Biden? To me, the answer is absolutely yes. They are intentionally slow walking. They are intentionally leaving him unprotected. They're not going to kill him themselves, but they're not going to help him to the extent they need to. Nowhere near it. And it's obvious. And that's when the former FBI assistant director said that today. This is obvious. This is intentional, as far as he didn't allege they're trying to kill him. But he said this is obviously intentional. He said, here's what he said. He said they're choosing to not give it their all. They're purposely not trying hard. And it's obvious. And that tells me what I've been telling you. They want him dead, but they're not going to do it themselves. They're going to take their hand of protection off of him and allow somebody to keep trying. I will be surprised, and I really hate to say this, if there's not a third attempt in the next month. And so do you feel DHS and Secret Service are purposely leaving Trump at a much higher risk of assassination than Kamala and Biden? Absolutely yes, is my opinion. And by the way, where's the head of the DHS, the DOJ? Merrick Garland. He's hiding. By the way, one more question. Do you believe foreign adversaries or our government officials are trying to assassinate President Trump? And I know that to be true. Iran is. And should he keep doing his public events and doing outdoor recreational activities, or should he stay in and stay safe? And do you feel he won't make Election Day? Won't make it to Election Day? Do you actually think he might not make it to Election Day? And what happens if that happens? I don't want to know. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Lines wide open. Chime in right now. 800-288-9227. Do you feel DHS and the Secret Service are purposely leaving Trump at a much higher risk of assassination than Kamala and Biden? Do you believe foreign adversaries or our government officials, either foreign adversaries or our government officials, are trying to assassinate Trump? I think that you got 2 people who had some overseas dealings. Are they being funded by Iran? This second guy wrote a book, and in the book he begged and he encouraged Iran to kill Trump. He wanted them. He said in his book, he wrote it, come over here and kill him. And that guy did that. You think Iran can't figure out who this guy is and fund his flights and fund his gear and give him intelligence or information on where to go? You think with all the illegals that have flooded this country, 2 million have been are gotaways. We don't know who they are, what they are. They're terrorists or whatnot. You think as they're trying to actively kill Trump, they haven't sent agents over to hire Americans? A Pakistani terrorist was just busted for actually being an agent hired by, was it Iran, I think, to kill Trump and to create a diversion. He was hiring all Americans. And he should not stop doing his public events. He will not. And he should not stop doing his public recreational events. He will not, and he should not. And I pray, and I think we all should, that he makes it to Election Day. And I don't want to know what happens if that doesn't happen. 800-288-WBAP is our number. I have much more audio to play for you. I got J.D. Vance blaming the Democrats and the media. I got the media attacking Trump and Vance, blaming them for the assassination attempt. They're so blaming Donald J. Trump for his own assassination attempts. They're literally saying, stop saying what you're saying because they're trying to kill you. Shut up. Don Lemon literally said he should go away and not run so he can live. That's where we're at. Your call next at 800-288-WBAP. I'm going to share 2 comments from J.D. Vance And you're going to hear the media attack and blame him and Trump for these assassination attempts. It's unreal what they're doing, what they're saying. Your call as well is coming up next. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That's at 8:16 on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
The Trump campaign is seizing on this apparent assassination attempt as a way to rile up his base.
Violent rhetoric in America in presidential campaigns has been unprecedented since Donald Trump first came onto the scene in 2016.
The violence is coming from them.
The former president certainly could do a lot to make himself safer.
If Donald Trump wants Kamala Harris and others to stop saying that he is a threat to democracy, then he should stop threatening democracy.
Quit blaming folks until you decide to take a look at what's coming out of your mouth.
Right now, you have a former president who, yes, has been the target of apparent assassinations twice, but is also an instigator of political violence.
It is all Trump's fault. And you know it, and I know everybody knows it, right? It's all Trump's fault. Wow, huh? So I do believe that the Secret Service, and since they're under the Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, I do believe that they are intentionally withdrawing their hand off the protection of Trump, not giving him the full level that he needs because they hate him. And they are literally doing the classic government employee union purposely slacking. And I don't think I think they think it's right to make him uncomfortable and to make him at unease. And if he happens to die, they want to make sure they're doing their best they can on paper. Oh, look what we did. We saw a barrel that was ready to kill him in 15 minutes or so. Look what we did. He was there for 12 hours, but we got him. Versus securing the perimeter, which is exactly what they do for Biden. And the telltale sign was the sheriff yesterday saying that, and I've got the audio, I can play it for you, but I played it yesterday, and, saying, well, he's not a president on the presidential level. He's not a president, so he doesn't get the same detail. So that's why it was like that. And it's like, dude, you literally don't understand. Joe Biden supposedly told the Secret Service to give him the full protection of Trump. And they're saying also we don't have a lot of resources. We don't have enough. Yeah. Well, Biden can just order the Secret Service to say, I want you to temporarily de-emphasize all the investigations and efforts on Treasury issues. They were originally under Treasury, and everybody's saying they should go back to Treasury. I can tell you this, all they got to do is say, unless it's an urgent, massive matter, pause it and go help them, the president, get guarded. And they aren't, and they won't, and they're doing it on purpose. A couple questions for you. Do you feel DHS and Secret Service are purposely leaving Trump at a much higher risk of assassination than Kamala and Biden? Do you believe foreign adversaries or even our own government officials are trying to assassinate President Trump? It sure looks like it, doesn't it? I mean, they want this to get done, but they're not. I mean, most of us understand, realize, and know by now that our own government, it appears, may have actually killed JFK. Or CIA or something of that nature. And there's still files that have been seen. Tucker Carlson talked to a former guy with top security clearance that has seen the papers and said, yes, it was our government and it was CIA. A lot of people think that, and I don't necessarily think that's wrong. I don't know, but I don't think it's wrong at all. And so why wouldn't they do it again? I mean, you've seen this whole Justice Department and every department of this government with all its might try to destroy Donald Trump, make up fake stuff about him, lie on warrants, tap his phone illegally, and have 51 intelligence officials, former, lie and say that he is this laptop that proves that Biden is corrupt, that would have changed the vote by 17% according to the polling, had it gotten released properly and not held back. I mean, all they're trying to do is kill him or jail him or get him off the ticket and remove him from our society. Why wouldn't they try to kill him, or at least in a roundabout way try to help somebody else kill him, another entity? I really hate that I'm talking about this with you. I don't want to be some crazy lunatic here, but that's how everything looks at this point to a lot of us. At least I'll speak for myself. And should Trump keep going to these public events and doing outdoor recreational activities, or should he stay inside and stay safe? And I don't want him to do that. He would never do that, and I wouldn't want him to. Do you feel that he might not make it to Election Day? And what happens if that happens? God forbid. Joe in Grapevine, WBAP.
Chris, I definitely agree with you. I thought that, and I called in to this show. You weren't on, but it was on a Sunday or a Saturday, an hour and a half. I said this is an inside job before anyone else brought that up or even mentioned it until Tuesday or Wednesday. And I think that now I agree with you because, yes, it's known that he goes out on Sundays, I believe, to do golfing, but they didn't know. I agree. Where it was thermal, even if it's a hot day, why didn't they have boots on the ground sealing the perimeter? And I had heard also on Dan Bongino's show, the audience needs to know that he said he Googled Earth, Google Earth.
Yeah.
And he said if he'd gone to the sixth hole, he would have been under 200 feet. And something else.
Well, he would also have been 40 feet when Trump always drives his own golf cart, I've seen, and he would have been 40 feet on the right side for the assassin to shoot him and kill him on the golf cart coming in on the guard path.
Thank you. That too. Thank you for reminding me. Mm-hmm. Also, they said that what they're doing, instead of hiring Navy SEALs, Special Ops, Marines, Marines that do embassy duty, they
10
know
seconds.
How to do all that.
Yeah.
They are hiring college students over Navy SEALs and special operations.
Yes, and women who can't. The woman in charge of the site operation was literally failed one of the basic tests that you have to pass to get in. It was overlooked, apparently, according to a whistleblower, and Senator Josh Hawley just released that yesterday or the day before. So, yeah, this is a Biden debacle, to say the least. All right, coming up next at 33 after the hour, Springfield. Kamala says Trump is saying racial tropes. Liberal news saying it's Trump's fault for all the bomb threats and chaos there. Ho, ho, ho. Wait till we get to this coming up. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Making a preset, y'all. 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show. Okay, a lot more going on in Springfield and a lot more going on the invasion from Haitian and others. None of these massive numbers would be coming in if it wasn't for Joe and Kamala throwing our borders wide open. And Kamala is now seizing the moment as the media has come aboard, blaming Trump for all of this. It's all his fault. They had, did you hear they had 33 bomb threats in Springfield? And Kamala, the Democrats, and the media all blaming Trump. But they're wrong. Listen to this. This is Governor Mike DeWine, a Republican light, if that. And listen to what he says about who and what these attacks are coming from, the bomb threats that all turned out to be hoaxes. 33 of them. Ready? Listen to this. This is going to make you go, whoa.
Released 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax. So 33 threats, 33 hoax. We have people, unfortunately, overseas who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country. We think that this is, one more opportunity to mess with the United States.
foreign entities. These are not pro-Trump people. These are not American citizens. 33 calls of bomb threats called in from out of the country, from foreign states, most from one country. Which country do you think is making these fake calls? Which country doesn't want Donald J. Trump to be president because he's going to hand them their butts on a platter and kill any one of them that harms one of our American citizens, unlike Joe Biden and Kamala? Probably Iran. And if it's not Iran, probably North Korea. And if it's not North Korea, probably China. And if it's not China, probably Russia. My first guess is Iran. Hey, is your refrigerator running? Oh, you better catch it. Oh, click. No, it's not like that. It's a bomb hoax. Oh, we need you to test your fire alarm. Okay, pull the alarm. Click. Remember we used to do those in dorms? Oh, I did at least. You guys are like, who's doing that? No, listen, these are all fake, and Kamala blamed Trump. Kamala blamed Trump. This woman wants to be the commander-in-chief, and she blames Trump, her opponent, not foreign adversaries that are faking this out, that are causing this panic and pandemonium. It is not Trump's fault when foreign adversaries interfere with our elections by doing this. So you literally have the Democrat Party, Kamala Harris, and the media all working with foreign entities, foreign adversaries. They're all saying the same thing. So who do you think is right in this? Kamala and Democrats and the media are all working with a foreign agent, a foreign entity, lying that it's Trump's fault. Who do you think is right? Who's not on that side? Who's not on the side of our adversaries that are terrorizing a town with fake bomb threats? It ain't Trump. It ain't his supporters. Isn't it amazing that Kamala is literally saying is working with adversaries to make Trump look bad? Isn't that amazing? That's what she's doing. She didn't say, oh, no. I call it as rhetoric. It's wrong, da-da-da. But he is not responsible for that. That's a foreign entity that's trying to divide us. That's what she should say. But she has no idea what's going on. You know, this is the same woman that told you that there are no troops in combat or in harm's way in active duty right now in a combat zone. This absolute moron has no idea that 2 of our troops were killed in Syria on a mission last year, that we have a couple thousand troops in Syria in combat zones fighting the Iranians, who she and Joe won't stop. We have troops in the greatest current naval battle right now. The last time our Navy was at this level of combat was literally World War II. That's according to the commander, a naval commander who's actively working right now. He said the last time that we've seen this level of combat is World War II, and Kamala says they're not fighting. We also have thousands of our troops in Iraq, many of who've gotten traumatic brain injuries from terrorist attacks that they won't stop. And in fact, some of the soldiers at a base in the middle of combat right now is either in Syria or Iraq, literally in their tent, played that they played that soundbite on the TV, and they put the camera back on them in their tent in the theater of combat, and they're like, whoa, what the bleep did she say? It's on my Twitter feed. This is the fool named Kamala Harris. So here's my questions for you. Was Trump right to point this out, this invasion of Haitians and the destruction of Springfield, Ohio? Was he right to point that out? Is Trump smart? By the way, he's going down to Springfield. He has announced that he will be going down to Springfield shortly. This was in WLTW, one of the news outlets there in the area, and he will be coming down to Springfield. No firm date yet. I'm grateful that he's doing that. I think they are too. They are. They might even, many of them say it. So it was Trump right to point out this Haitian invasion of Springfield. It's also in a town called Charleroi, Pennsylvania. There's 4,100 people that live in this town, and they've been invaded by Haitians. Their kindergarten is overwhelmingly mostly Haitian now, people that don't speak English. I'm going to play you audio from teachers in a second. They literally have been invaded. More of the students in their schools in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. I've got this on my Twitter feed too. I'm going to play it in a second. Have more Haitians in the school than they have Americans, and they don't speak any English. They're destroying another small town. This one's in Pennsylvania. So was Trump right to point this out? Is Trump smart to go down to Springfield, which he will be doing soon? Do you agree with Kamala? She said today that he is saying at the National Association of Black Journalists, of course, she did this vile accusation. Kamala said that Trump is saying racial tropes, the oldest racial tropes, she said about this Haitians in Springfield. Do you agree with Kamala that Trump is saying racial tropes, or is he simply pointing out all the bad thing that Kamala and Joe's wide open borders have caused? And do you want our states? I don't know if you caught this too. The Ohio Attorney General is now threatening to sue the Biden administration for not enforcing and for foisting this invasion on them without notification, without any assistance, with nothing. They just dumped their illegals on them. Or in this case, Haitians that they say qualify, but it's a bunch of BS. So do you want our states suing the federal government for dumping illegals all over the country and their cities? Do you agree with Kamala that Trump is saying racial tropes, or do you think he's simply pointing out all the bad things that Kamala and Joe's wide open borders have caused? And is Trump smart enough to go down to Springfield by going down to Springfield? And was Trump right to point all this out? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Lines wide open. Chime in right now on the Chris Crock Show. I'm going to play you some audio we have of this, too, because it's here's Charleroi, Pennsylvania. This is a reporter talking to two teachers about the Haitian invasion in that small town of 4,100 in Pennsylvania.
I think they are trying to get even interpreters to teach the kids, let alone get to this part.
Yeah, they're having a huge problem, I think,
it's kind of ridiculous.
With trying to teach. There were 45 Haitians that started kindergarten this year.
Whoa.
45.
How big is kindergarten overall?
A kindergarten class is probably no more than 60 at most.
You understand that 40 of 60 kindergartners in their school, 45 are Haitians. Haitians outnumber kindergartens 3-1, and none of them speak English. Do you understand what Kamala and Joe have done to our country? They're literally destroying our country. And Trump is right to point it out.
At most.
Yeah, like one classroom is probably like 20 kids, I'm thinking. Maybe 25.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
yeah.
Like the majority of kindergarten is Haitian now.
Yeah.
In what, 2 years? Something like that? Like
Yeah.
And they don't speak English?
Actually, I think the younger kids speak more English than the older kids.
Okay. We're talking to a guy tomorrow who he had to pull his 7th grader out of school because they just didn't have the resources. He was like...
I've heard stories like that.
Yeah.
One of the things, like I said, about the not speaking English, like middle school grades, where parents are having a problem because their kids can't advance because the teachers are having to compensate for the kids who can't speak English.
Right.
All right, the town of over 4,000 people, just over 4,000 people, has now received 2,000 Haitian immigrants that they brought in. Trump would never have done this. So this is a purpose decision by Kamala and Joe to flood our country. By the way, of these Haitian people that are flown in by Joe and Kamala, one man in Maryland molested a 10-year-old boy. We have in Rome, Georgia, an illegal immigrant that Kamala and Joe flew in, was driving drunk, crashed into an oncoming vehicle, killing a mother of 3 and severely injured a 1-year-old. After that story in Georgia follows the Haitian national in Maryland who molested a 10-year-old boy, and a different Haitian national who molested an underage girl at a migrant hotel outside of Boston. Both of these men were flown in by Joe Biden. I'm reading a quotation from my buddy Eric Erickson in his report. Both of these Haitian illegals, I've been telling you about them, by the way, for some time, but they were flown into the United States through Biden and Kamala's Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans parole program. Also, you may not know that Biden and Harris have flown in 813,000 illegals into this country since January of 2023. None of those are on the records that they tell you. So there's an additional approximate 1 million illegals they've flown in directly that are not in any of the numbers they tell you. Oh, look, it's not as high as he's not. He's lying. The controversial plan allows illegal migrants, my buddy Erickson says, to book appointments at U.S. ports of entry and register through CBP One app, which they admitted 45,000 illegals in August alone. 45,000 illegals. So they're cooking the books, as my buddy says, and they expect you to believe the sanitized data that's not nearly as big. They're liars. They're destroying this country, and Trump is damn right, excuse my language, to point this out. Absolutely right. All right, we're going to talk to Greg in Little Elm coming up next at 48 after the hour. Was Trump right to point this out? Is Trump smart to go down to Springfield, as just reported? And do you agree with Kamala that Trump is saying racial tropes, or is he simply pointing out all the bad things Kamala and Joe have done with their wide open borders? And do you want our states suing the federal government for dumping illegals all over the country in their cities? Trump was right. Trump is smart to go there. And Kamala is playing the race card again. It's disgusting with these Haitian illegals or Haitian, whatever they are. And I want our states suing, so that's good. All right, all that's next. And you're going to hear some of the Kamala quotes today from the NABJ saying that Trump is repeating racial tropes, hundreds of years old. It's just sickening what she says. You know, this is the same crap this woman pulled with the Border Patrol saying they whipped Haitians and Haitian illegals, and saying that that's the same stuff that we saw in the slavery period. This woman is a liar and will use anything to divide and hurt and lie about people. She has never apologized to our Border Patrol agents for lying and saying they were whipping Haitians because they're black. And she's doing the same crap right now. Period. We got 3 lines open, 800-288-WBAP. Greg and Little Elm, you're next. And you'll hear what Kamala said today with those alleged racial tropes coming up next. So it's not widely available, but I got to go down a little ways here. But she talks about Trump saying tropes, and they're so old and hundreds of years old. I'll play a little bit, but she literally is talking like she's on tranquilizers and having these ridiculous over-expressions and acting like people are murdering people here. But here we go. I'll play a little bit.
And especially when you have been and then seek to be again President of the United States of America. And so I go back to, it's a crying shame, literally, what's happening to those families, those children in that community, not to mention what is happening in terms of, look, you say you care about law enforcement resources being put into this because of these serious threats that are being issued against a community that is living a productive, good life before this happened.
No, they're not. Haitian illegals are killing. They killed an 11-year-old boy by driving into a bus and crashing the bus on its side. An 11-year-old boy was killed in broad daylight. You guys gave them driver licenses and allow them to drive and have jobs right away. They have taken up all the housing there. I played you the audio of people who have been kicked out of their houses. A guy who's been for years handling homeless veterans and homeless people in the community. He literally has been thrown out of his house, and others have been. And it's all because of Kamala and Joe. And cars are on fire. I've played you this. I've showed it to you on my Twitter feed. And, at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK, they have destroyed this city. And she's saying it's great, and that Trump is threatening it and making all these bomb threats when it's 33 of them, and they're all foreign countries. It all came from out of the state. They're foreign countries, most of them from one country. Hint, it's probably Iran or China or North Korea or Russia. And she's blaming Trump. She's literally echoing what the Chinese or the Iranians, whoever's doing those bomb threats are. The woman's an idiot and a fool. And she also said there were racial tropes as well. She's a fool with this and an idiot regarding this response, at least I'll say. I'm not saying she's an idiot because she's not. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Greg, Little Elm, WBAP, you're on.
Hey, Chris, thanks. I agree. Trump has the right to expose this. Sure, he could have been a little bit more tactful, but
yes.
No, he's Trump, and we like him for that, But anyways, the media is piling on him, They're going to be worse this time if he wins election than what they were his first 4 years. Basically, there will be zero media time for Trump at all. So I'm glad he's got Truth Social, and I'm glad he's got X in his back pocket there, so that way he can get some truth out there, letting us know what he's done for our country, because, the media is not going to do it.
Right on. I appreciate your call. The question is, what are the average people going to say out there? What are the average people going to hear and know? I don't know. He should not have said eating pets and dogs. He should have just said eating geese, destroying the schools, crashing cars and everything. And he just kind of had a very poor way of expressing the problem, but which leaves him exposed. But still, he's not responsible for any of these foreigners calling in death threats, bomb threats. All right, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, Tren de Aragua. Governor Abbott just designated the Venezuelan gang, which is the transnational gang. It's the worst gang on this side of the hemisphere. Unequivocally, it's called, by federal officials, it's called MS-13 on steroids. Joe and Kamala brought them in with their illegal invasion. And I talked to an expert on this who helped craft the policy for Governor Abbott that he just came out with on this. And he said that he believes tens of thousands of Tren de Aragua members are in this country right now because of them. That is next on the Chris Crock Show at 3 minutes after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make that a preset. 800-288 WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227.